the station where no one arrives. The first thing that struck Alex was the silence of the station. It wasn't the kind of silence that promised peace. It was the sort that vibrated against your chest, like it was trying to remember a sound that had long been buried. Everything was still.
No announcements. No footsteps.
Just her shadow on the tiled floor, and the low fluorescent hum overhead, flickering with a pulse like a dying heart. She hadn't meant to be here. She was only meant to change lines, line 4 to the city center. But the train she boarded had gone off-route. There were no other passengers when she stepped off. No staff. No name for the station. Just a long, curving platform and an endless wall of beige tiles. She checked her phone. No signal.
No Wi-Fi.
2:46 a.m. The train had already pulled away behind her, as though it was never there at all. Alex waited. She paced. She listened. But there was nothing. Not even rats or wind or echoes. And then she saw the door. It was near the far end of the platform. Painted red. Unmarked. There was no handle. Only a narrow mail slot at eye level, with chipping brass around its edges. She crouched slightly and looked through. Inside, a hallway. Narrow. Pale yellow lighting.
Worn carpet. Beige.
The kind of hallway you see in old hotels or abandoned office buildings. There was nothing to indicate whether it was meant for public access. But when she touched it, the door creaked open with no resistance. She stepped in. The hallway smelled like a long-dead heater. Warm dust, metal, and something beneath that. Acrid, almost like copper or blood. The sound of the station vanished the moment the door shut behind her. Now it was just a corridor of closed doors on either side, each identical, marked only by brass room numbers.
No windows.
Alex walked. The first door on the left was slightly ajar. She paused. There was a noise inside, a scratching, like a pencil moving quickly across paper. Slowly, she pushed it open with one finger. Inside was a boy, young, no older than 20, dressed in gray sweatpants and an old hoodie. He sat on the floor with his back to her, a notebook in his lap, scribbling furiously. His entire body was trembling as he wrote, like he wasn't allowed to stop, as if something might happen if he did. "Hey!" Alex whispered. The boy froze, but he didn't turn around. "I'm sorry to bother you. I think I got on the wrong train." No answer. "Can you tell me where we are?" He scribbled again. The pen moved faster this time. His hands shook. Then he whispered, "They only love what they can name." Alex didn't understand. She took a step closer. But when she did, he turned his head just enough for her to see the corner of his eye, and it wasn't fear or confusion in it. It was warning. "Get out before they learn you," he hissed. She left the room. She walked faster now, not understanding what she was trying to escape. Each room she passed had something behind it. The second door had music. A piano playing slow arpeggios over and over but just slightly off-key. The third was locked, but water leaked from under it, warm and rust-colored. She stopped at the fourth. Inside, a mirror and a chair.
No windows.
No bed. Just a girl, thin, hunched over, brushing her hair silently. It was obvious she had been crying. Her face was streaked with mascara and dust. But the moment Alex entered, the girl stopped brushing and looked up. Not at Alex. At the mirror. "It's unfair, isn't it?" she said to the reflection. Her voice cracked like glass under pressure. "You tell the truth, and they still call you the villain. You show them the wound, and they say you're dangerous. You try to leave, and they call you a coward." Alex didn't move. The girl's voice was calm, but her eyes looked like they were trying to crawl out of her skull. "He used to call me Belle," she smiled, "as if that could fix me." Then she turned to Alex for the first time, not smiling now. "He said I was a mirror too, but all I ever showed was the rot he kept hiding." Alex backed away and closed the door. The hallway never ended. It only bent, like a serpentine path meant to keep her from remembering the direction she came from. At one point, she found an old vending machine against the wall. The screen was cracked. The items inside were strange. Photos instead of food. Faces. Blurred smiles. A train ticket. a broken tooth. She didn't touch anything. At the farthest point, maybe an hour later, maybe 10 minutes, she found another boy. This one older, calm. Sitting on the last bench in a room that looked like a station waiting area from decades ago. Faded posters. Burnt-out clocks. Plastic plant covered in ash. He was looking down the railway that extended into darkness. There was no platform, just tracks laid out like veins beneath a ruined body. "You waiting for something?" Alex asked. The boy didn't answer immediately. Then, "A train that doesn't stop for people like us." She sat beside him. "Who are we?" she asked. He smiled faintly. "People who see too much. People who remember what they're not supposed to." Alex looked down the tracks. "Did you live here?"
No.
"I arrived here. Difference is subtle." The quiet stretched out again. Then he said more softly, "There's no going back, you know? Once you start asking what they buried. Once you hear the rails groan in your sleep." Alex turned to look at him, but he was already standing. "There's one more room you should see. The one without a door." He led her through a side corridor she hadn't noticed before. It was narrower than the others, and as they walked, the walls changed. Gone were the tidy hotel aesthetics. Now it looked more like a psychiatric wing. Tiled floor with hairline cracks, smeared walls, air that pulsed with old sweat and lemon cleaner. They stopped at a concrete wall. "No door?" she asked. He nodded once, then gently pressed his palm against the wall. And it opened, not like a hidden passage, just gave way, like a wound that was never stitched properly. The room was small, bare, and in its center a table. On it a recording device, the kind used for confessions. The boy walked in and pressed play. "I was never supposed to tell anyone," said a voice. It was male, young, raw. "They made me believe that love was a performance, that I had to earn it with silence, with pain, with staying invisible. They liked me better that way, quiet, polite, pretty, obedient. But you break a child like that, and all you get is a man who doesn't know how to speak without hurting someone. I only ever wanted someone to stay, someone who wouldn't run when the mirror cracked, someone who saw the beast and didn't flinch." The tape clicked off. Alex turned to the boy, but he was gone. She wandered again. Now the rooms were changing around her, no longer consistent. One room had a chair facing a wall covered in eyes. Another was filled knee-high with black hair. Another had a mattress soaked through with something thick and dark. Her own name appeared once on a post-it stuck to a cracked bathroom mirror. She didn't know what she was looking for anymore, only that leaving wasn't an option. She returned to the red door at last. Or maybe a different one just like it. Inside, nothing, except a train, motionless. She climbed aboard. She didn't ask where it was going. No one was there to answer. The next morning, commuters reported a station that flickered briefly into view between two real stops. Unmapped, unlabeled. Just a glimpse, a hallway of yellow light and a shadow in the doorway, just before it vanished again. They thought it was a dream, a glitch, a story. But Alex would ride that line forever. And no one ever asked where she went. Because some trains don't take passengers. They take confessions. And if you listen closely, you'll hear the rails whisper them back. Unfair, unfair, unfair. And always moving, but never going home.